this is something we do every week, wherein we go live with a community builder, a brand or independent who have done some amazing work in the industries. So, Vishwajita, I remember when we spoke the last time, like I think couple of months back, you had mentioned that ideally came from a writing background, and then you hopped into marketing, and then now you are into community management. So, can you tell us about the journey so far?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. So the thing is, I'm really curious. Okay, so when I was in marketing, when I was first started as a content writer, I was like, okay, I'm sending off my writings to my boss, and that's it. What else? Like, what next? So I kept that, what next and why thing going on throughout my career, and that's why I'm here right now. The thing is, yeah, and there is one more thing, that if you ask any community person right now in India, you will find that they are from various backgrounds. Like, there are people from developers community, like who have this. Obviously you are an engineer and you are into communities right now. So I mean, yeah, if you look around, you will see people from various backgrounds and communities, and that is a beautiful thing because we need people from various backgrounds. And also a beautiful thing because we need communities from these fields as well. So you speak about any field, we need communities. So coming back to your question, yeah, so I was into social media. I have never touched paid advertising as such. I was into social media, and then I actually Deepak reached out to me to manage a 150k 1,50,000, like I always use this 1,50,000 marketeers in Facebook group, and he's like, what to do about this? We have so much spam coming in right now. What to do about that and all those things? And yeah, then I didn't know that he was actually. I knew that he was getting me as a community manager, but I didn't know that, okay, what to do as a community manager. I just went ahead and I kind of moderated all the posts, and that's it. So then I actually dig into the field, and then I got to know, okay, it is actually a field which is actually popular in the US and UK. And I got a book I read, because back then there were no content related to community management. I'm just talking like 2.5 years back. There were very, very less content available. And thank God I stumbled upon Paris. One of my friends told me that, okay, he is a community manager from India, maybe you should get in touch with him. And somehow then I actually got in touch with, I got to know about this community folks. And that's how, I got into community management. For a long time, like at least for 6 months, I didn't know that this was a field, and there are things that we can actually do to flourish a community. So from being a marketer to social media, from content writing to client management to social media to communities, it's one hell of a ride, and I learned a lot. And that's why I'm here, and it's all about serving the people. And I feel like community is everything that marketing wants to be, dreams to be. So because the authenticity and the transparency that the community actually helps in flourishing is, you can't do that with marketing. So you connect people together. That is like the best thing ever. And thank God I'm in communities right now. So yeah, that's why I'm in communities.
That's really interesting. So one question that I have here, which is a follow-up question from we talked about the community of global marketers. So from what I understand, you were technically given a community that was unmoderated, no rules, spammy content walking in. So do you have like certain tips for people who are given such communities? Like, what are some of the tips they could follow to sort of what do you call this, sort of like tame the community, sort of and then
Oh God, yeah.
improve the community health.
Right. So I do have few tips for you, in fact, and it's actually a universal tip. Like all the tips that I'll be telling you, that applies to every and all community, all communities. So no matter what, wherever, whichever community that you are starting, the first thing is you have to think about the rules. And yeah, there is one thing that actually will help you establish those things, that is called community canvas. I got to know about it after maybe 1 year into community. It's called communitycanvas.org. So if you go there, you will find this canvas of things that you should do whenever you are starting your community. So we have minimum viable product. They call themselves as minimum viable community. So these are the things, no matter what, you have to have before starting a community. Like you should be having a mission, a community mission. Why are you getting those people together? You should be having a vision of your community. Then you should be having the rules and the guidelines or the moderation rules that you have. That is very important, so that you can enforce them in the community. Because when you are getting people together, and people are weird, we know that, and they're unpredictable. You never know what could happen. So you're getting people together, you have to have certain rules and boundaries in the communities. And that doesn't mean that you have to be a police every time. It's communities have a lot to do with trust as well. So yeah, the hacks or the tips that I have for any person who wants to start a community is, there are 4 things. Okay, one is onboarding, second is rituals, third is gamification, and the fourth part is super users. Okay, no matter what, if you are starting any community, you will need to have an onboarding sequence first, because people are new to your community. They need to know what they are going to expect from your community, what are the things that they should be doing, they should not be doing, and all those things. So in onboarding sequence, you should be having all those things. Like you can have your rules, you can tell them to introduce them. There is something called as buddy system, where I've seen the CMX Hub people have actually appointed few people. Every month they appoint few people, and then whoever is coming, they buddy each other, and that helps them in talking to, if they have any question, they can right. So that's a very good human touch that they're getting into it. And there's a lot that can go into an onboarding thing, onboarding sequence. Then comes rituals. So rituals is my favorite. So for example, we are actually doing a ritual right now. We are coming live every Saturday, I guess. So so that is one. The rituals could be ritual could be monthly, it could be weekly. Let's say Motivation Monday. I had something called as Feedback Friday. So whatever that is, just think about. Yeah, sorry.
We have at Like Minds, we have some, and the Like Minds community of community managers, we have something called Feel Good Friday. So you mentioned Fridays, and we have Feel Good Fridays. That's what I was saying.
Amazing. What does it do? I want to know.
Ideally, in Feel Good Friday, after you have had a long week, you try to share that one good thing that happened to you in the week. Could be around member acquisition, could be around the feedback you got from a member, or in general you went to some new place, you explored. So anything that
amazing.
Feel good and sharing positivity. So that was created during the pandemic, and we have been keeping up with it. Yes,
that's really nice. So this is one ritual that you are doing every Friday, right? So rituals is again a very good engagement tip that I have for you. And a lot of people, they don't do it, and it's very easy. Just keep a theme every week if you want, and ask the question to your communities, and that's it. You just have to do that. But a lot of people don't do that. Then comes gamification. So I was actually talking about the member tiers in my community 2 days back, and so in every community you will find people where there will be lurkers, there will be active users, there will be a contributor. So we have member tiers like that. And here also a funnel is working. Like you will have any if you are having like 200 members in your community, only like let's say 5 to 10% of them would be really active in your community. So how can you incentivize those people to actually get more contribution from all the people? So that is where gamification is coming into picture. There is one like this is where I don't like Facebook. In other community platforms, they have really good gamification. We can set up gamification in a really good manner. So in Facebook, they have like their own set, and we can't really customize it. So that is where I don't really like Facebook. But apart from that,
like I think the gamification part kind of like talks about how to reward your inner circle. And again, going by that 90-10 1% rule.
Yeah, exactly. 90-10 1%. That's a very good concept that you said. So yeah, I mean, this is where your own relationship building comes in. If you are not actually getting that exact what do we call it, the insights or the metrics from the platform, you have to like go ahead and build relationship with the people who are actually are very active in your community. It takes time, and relationship building is not easy. You have to do it no matter what. That brings me to super users. So when I told about relationship building, you kind of give the torch to the super users, to the active members, so that you trust them with your work, and then you tell to them, okay, do whatever the hell you want to do in the community, but yeah, please within boundaries, obviously, and you have our blessings. So yeah, super users is like that. And this is like then again, this is in super users, the concept of status and ego comes into picture, and this is where human psychology is coming into play. So these four are the things that I had for anyone who's starting the community. One is onboarding, the second part is gamification, then the rituals, and super users. If you are like taking care of these four, which is hard work, obviously, it's not easy. If you're taking care of these four things, then your community will be a good place to be. Yeah.
Right now, this is a question that I have. I think, and this like especially like we kept this for you. Like since you have been from a marketing background and now you're into communities, what intersection do you see between the two domains?
Intersection in the sense that so the thing is, if there are some communities who are in the top of the funnel, like if you look at the marketing funnel, so we have top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel. So if you look at the top of the funnel, and if you see the communities who are falling in that is like, let's say fitters Facebook group. So they have around 5 lakh members. The last time I checked, they had 5 lakhs members, and it is a very good awareness tool for them, where they are like getting those fitness freaks together, and their coaches, fitness coaches together, and they are talking about what to do about their health and all those things. And it's like it's acting as a very good top of the funnel engagement tool for them, like for fitters as a company. And that's how they actually grew, right? Then what they did was and then if I talk about the funnel, people are getting to know about the brand in the Facebook group. And if they have any anything that they need to be personalized, let's say they need a personalized diet chart for them, they will go to Fitter and they will buy that whatever packages they have. So yeah, it acts as a very good humanized form of marketing, like they're getting their fitness gurus over there, and people are talking to everyone over there. So awareness is something that is driving the community. If we talk about the funnel, apart from that, I think a lot of people you will get to know about their super fans, like let's say the super users, as I said. They would be having some advocates. They can jump in and talk to other people, like other members who are coming in, and they are getting the advocates through the community, right? So if you have any, let's say, a campaign for any new launch, let's say they are launching a personalized diet plan again, then they can just talk to their advocates from the community and get those case studies or testimonials from them. And that's all. Like, you have a ready set of your advocates from the communities. So that is where marketing is it's a weapon for the marketing people. Apart from that, huge number of user generated content that they can get. When I say user generated content, it's nothing but the content that is that you are getting from the members of the community. They can use that to fill their social media calendars, or let's say they can use that to they can use it in various ways. They can use it for new campaigns related stuff, or they can use it for their own blogs or own posts, anything. So yeah,
thank people for joining in, and on that note we'll end this session. Next week again we will be hosting another community builder, so stay tuned, and we'll be announcing it soon as well. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.